Welcome to the European Association for Higher Education Advancement's YouTube and podcast channel.
Thanks for having me.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into a fascinating article from the EAHEA itself, all about how to make your resume truly stand out.
I like it.
Think of this as your cheat sheet for resume success. With some insider tips you might not expect, ready to level up your resume game.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people underestimate the power of a truly stellar resume. It's your first impression, your chance to showcase your unique value before you even step into an interview.
It's true. I've definitely had those moments where I felt like my resume just wasn't doing me justice. You know? Like it was holding me back from opportunities.
I think we've all been there. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is using the same generic resume for every job they apply for. The EAHEA article really hammers home the importance of tailoring your resume to each specific role and company. It's like the difference between wearing a tailored suit versus an off-the-rack one. The fit just isn't the same.
So we're ditching the generic resume and embracing the power of tailoring. But how do we actually do that effectively? It sounds like more than just swapping out a few keywords.
You're right. It's about going deeper. And really understanding the company's mission and values. Imagine you're applying for a job at a tech startup known for its innovative culture. Would you highlight the same skills and experiences as you would for a position at a traditional corporate firm?
Probably not. I'm guessing you'd want to showcase your adaptability.
Exactly. So before you even start tweaking your resume, spend some time researching the company. Dig into their website, especially the About Us section. Check out their social media presence. Pay attention to the language they use, the projects they highlight, the values they emphasize. It's like being a detective.
I like that.
Gathering clues to understand their unique culture.
I love that analogy. So once we've cracked the code of their company culture, how do we actually translate that into our resume?
That's where the real magic happens. Let's say the company emphasizes collaboration and teamwork. You'd want to make sure your resume highlights projects where you worked effectively in a team environment. Maybe you led a team to achieve a specific goal. Or maybe you played a key role in a collaborative project that resulted in a successful outcome. By showcasing these experiences, they're demonstrating a direct alignment with their values.
So it's not just about listing your skills and responsibilities. It's about framing them in a way that resonates with the company's culture.
Precisely. It's about showing them that you're not just looking for any job. You're specifically interested in their job. Because you understand and appreciate their unique approach.
I'm seeing how this tailoring thing can really make a difference in grabbing their attention. But let's be honest. Sometimes it feels like we're just throwing our resumes into a black hole, never knowing if anyone even looks at them.
It can be incredibly frustrating, and the EAHEA article acknowledges that. But it also offers some really practical tips for making your resume stand out from the crowd and increase your chances of getting noticed. One of the key things they emphasize is the importance of showcasing your ability to learn and grow.
So it's not just about listing our degrees and certifications, but also about demonstrating that we're lifelong learners who are always eager to expand our knowledge and skills.
Exactly. Think about it from an employer's perspective. They're looking for people who are adaptable, who can pick up new things quickly, and who are constantly evolving to stay ahead of the curve.
That makes total sense. But how do we showcase that learning mindset on our resume without just listing every course we've ever taken?
The article suggests focusing on 3 key areas. First, of course, is your formal education, your degrees certifications, any specialized training you've completed. But don't just list them. Highlight the specific skills and knowledge you gained that are relevant to the job you're applying for. Second, think about your professional experience. Were there any projects where you had to learn something new to succeed? Maybe you mastered a new software program, developed a new skill set, or took on a new responsibility that pushed you outside of your comfort zone. Highlight those experiences.
Got it.
And finally, don't underestimate the power of personal accomplishment.
Personal accomplishment. You mean like running a marathon?
Those are great examples.
Oh, okay.
But it can also be things like volunteering for an organization where you had to learn new skills.
Okay.
Leading a community project that required you to develop new knowledge. Or even taking on a personal challenge that pushed you to grow in some way.
Okay.
These experiences demonstrate initiative, adaptability, and a willingness to learn outside of a formal work setting.
Right.
All qualities that employers value highly.
Wow. I never thought about framing personal accomplishments in that way.
Yeah.
It's about showing that we're not just robots who punch in and punch out.
Right.
We're constantly learning and growing.
Exactly.
Both personally and professionally.
It's about painting a picture of yourself as someone who's engaged, curious, and always striving to improve.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of candidate that any employer would be excited to meet.
Okay. I'm totally on board with showcasing our learning abilities.
Good.
But let's be real. Even with the most perfectly tailored resume and a clear demonstration of our growth mindset, sometimes we still hit a wall.
I hear you. It can be incredibly discouraging to feel like you're sending your resume into a void with no response or feedback.
Right.
But the EAHEA article also offers some valuable tips for navigating that frustrating experience.
All right.
They actually suggest thinking about your job search as a marathon.
Marathon.
Well, it's about recognizing that finding the right job takes time, effort, and persistence.
Right.
It's not always a quick and easy process.
Okay.
And there will be bumps along the way.
Yeah.
But if you approach it with a marathon mindset, you'll be better equipped to handle the inevitable challenges and setbacks.
Okay. I can see how that mindset shift can be helpful.
Yeah.
It's about focusing on the long game and not getting discouraged by a few no's along the way.
Right.
But how do we practically apply that marathon mentality to our job search?
One of the key things the article emphasizes is the importance of using your network.
Okay.
Do you know anyone who works at the company you're interested in? Or anyone who might have connections there?
I guess it's all about who you know, right?
Networking can definitely open doors.
Right.
But it's not just about asking for favors or expecting handouts.
Yeah.
It's about building genuine relationships with people in your field, learning from their experiences, and sharing your own insights.
Okay.
And sometimes those relationships can lead to unexpected opportunities.
So it's about being proactive and reaching out to people, even if we don't know them personally.
Yeah.
Attend industry events, join online communities, connect with people on LinkedIn.
Right.
Basically put ourselves out there and start building those connections.
You never know who might be willing to offer advice, share their insights, or even make an introduction that could lead to your dream job.
That would be amazing.
And remember, networking is a two-way street.
Right.
Be willing to offer your help and support to others as well.
Okay, networking check.
All right.
What other tips does the EAHEA article offer for staying motivated and persistent in our job search marathon?
They also highlight the importance of following up after you send your resume.
Okay.
Don't just sit back and wait for a response.
Right.
Reach out to the hiring manager or recruiter a few days later to reiterate your interest and see if they have any questions.
Following up, isn't that a bit pushy? I don't want to come across as desperate or annoying.
It's all about finding the right balance.
Okay.
A polite and professional follow-up email can actually demonstrate your enthusiasm and initiative.
Right.
Just keep it brief and focused.
Okay.
Reiterating your interest in the position and highlighting a specific skill or experience that you think would be valuable to their team.
Okay. I'm starting to see how a well-timed follow-up can actually work in our favor. It's like saying, hey, I'm still here, I'm still interested, and I'm really excited about this opportunity.
Exactly. And it keeps your name fresh in their minds.
Right.
Especially if they're sifting through a large number of applications.
All right, I'm adding follow-up to my job search checklist.
Good.
But let's be real.
Yeah.
Even with the best resume, a killer network, and persistent follow-ups, rejection is still a part of the game.
It's true. Rejection is an inevitable part of the job search process.
Right.
And it can be incredibly discouraging.
Yeah.
But the EAE article reminds us that every no is just bringing us one step closer to a yes.
Easier said than done, right?
Well,
it's hard not to take those rejections personally.
Yeah.
Especially when we've put so much time and effort into our applications.
Absolutely. But remember, rejection doesn't necessarily mean you weren't qualified or that you did something wrong.
Right.
It could be any number of factors, many of which are completely outside of your control. The key is to view each rejection as a learning experience.
Okay.
What can you take away from this experience? How can you improve your approach for next time?
So instead of dwelling on the negative.
Exactly.
Try to find the nuggets of wisdom in each rejection.
Yeah.
And use those insights to refine our strategy moving forward.
And remember, every interview, even if it doesn't lead to a job offer, is valuable practice.
Right.
It's a chance to hone your interviewing skills, gain confidence,
Yeah.
and get better at articulating your value.
Okay. I'm starting to feel more empowered about facing those inevitable rejections. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's just a step in the journey.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about tailoring our resumes, showcasing our learning abilities, leveraging our networks, following up strategically, and even reframing rejection as a learning opportunity.
Good.
That's a lot to digest.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's all essential for creating a resume that truly stands out.
Right.
And navigating the job search process with confidence and resilience.
And that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could have all the right skills and experience.
Right.
But if you don't present them in a way that resonates with the employer, your resume might just end up lost in the shuffle.
Absolutely. The EAHEA article actually touches on a really interesting point here.
Okay.
The importance of speaking the right language.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about proper grammar and spelling.
Right.
Though those are obviously crucial.
Of course, yeah.
I'm talking about using industry-specific terminology.
Okay, so like jargon.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that make the resume sound overly technical or stuffy?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Think of it this way. When you're talking to someone who's fluent in your language, you can communicate more efficiently and effectively, right?
Right.
The same principle applies to your resume by using the right terminology. You're signaling to the employer that you understand their world.
Okay.
You speak their language, and you're already thinking like a member of their team.
Okay. I'm starting to see the value in that.
Yeah.
But how do we figure out what those magic words are for each industry? Do we need to become experts in every field we apply to?
That would be quite a feat.
Yeah.
The good news is you don't need to be an expert to use industry-specific terminology effectively.
Okay.
Start by carefully reviewing the job description and noting any keywords or phrases that stand out.
Okay.
Then expand your research by looking at industry websites, blogs, and articles.
Okay.
Pay attention to the language used by professionals in that field. What terms do they use frequently?
Okay.
What acronyms or abbreviations are common?
So it's like becoming a language detective.
Exactly.
Uncovering the secret code of each industry.
Yeah.
I like that.
And once you've identified those key terms, sprinkle them throughout your resume, in your skills section, your experience descriptions, even your summary statement.
Okay.
But be sure to use them authentically and appropriately.
Right.
Don't just stuff your resume with jargon for the sake of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about showing that you're fluent in their language. Right. Not just throwing around random words to sound impressive.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the EAE article actually provides some amusing examples to illustrate this point. For instance, if you're applying for a web developer role, they suggest using phrases like, use JavaScript for input validation.
All right.
Instead of saying something like, kludge together a set of web form scripts.
Kludge together.
Yeah.
Okay, that definitely paints a different picture. And I can see how the first phrase sounds much more professional and knowledgeable.
Exactly. It's about using language that conveys competence, expertise, and a deep understanding of the field.
Right.
And that can make a huge difference in how your resume is perceived.
All right. I'm sold on the power of industry-specific terminology.
Good.
But even if we've nailed the language, we still need to make sure our resume is visually appealing and easy to read right.
Absolutely. The EAHEA article stresses the importance of polish and perfection. Think of it this way. Your resume is a reflection of you, your work ethic, and your attention to detail.
Right.
Would you show up to a job interview in a wrinkled suit with coffee stains on it?
Definitely not.
So
I'd want to put my best foot forward and make a good first impression.
Exactly. The same principle applies to your resume.
Okay.
It needs to be impeccably formatted, free of typos and grammatical errors,
right,
and visually appealing.
Okay, so what are some practical tips for achieving that level of polish?
First and foremost, proofread, proofread, proofread.
Okay.
Don't just rely on spell check.
Okay.
Have a friend or colleague review your resume with fresh eyes.
Right.
They'll often catch errors that you might miss, especially if you've been staring at the same document for hours.
Good point. It's like when you've been working on a painting for too long, you lose the ability to see the flaws.
Yeah.
A fresh perspective is essential.
Exactly.
Okay.
And when it comes to formatting, consistency is key.
Okay.
Choose a clean, professional font.
Uh-huh.
Use consistent spacing and margins throughout the document.
Right.
And make sure your headings and subheadings are clear and easy to navigate.
So it's all about creating a visually pleasing and easy-to-read document.
Precisely.
Oh, okay.
And remember, your resume isn't just a list of facts and figures. It's a story.
Okay.
It's the story of your professional journey.
Right.
Your skills and accomplishments.
Yeah.
And your unique value proposition. So take the time to craft a compelling narrative that draws the reader in and leaves them wanting to learn more.
Okay, that's a great way to think about it. It's not just about presenting information.
Right.
It's about telling a story that captures their attention and makes them want to meet the person behind the resume.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that brings us to the final point.
Yeah.
That the AEE article emphasizes.
Right.
Remembering that your resume is just the beginning of the journey.
Right.
It's a tool to open doors.
Right.
But ultimately, it's your skills, your experience, and your passion that will truly make you stand out.
So we need to see our resumes as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
A way to get our foot in the door and showcase our unique talents and personality in the interview.
Precisely.
Okay.
And that's where the real magic happens. It's in that face-to-face interaction where you can truly connect with the employer, demonstrate your enthusiasm, and let your personality shine through.
Okay, that's such an important reminder. The resume is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
It's the interview that gives us the chance to bring our story to life.
And speaking of stories, have you ever had an experience where a seemingly small detail on a resume made a big impact, either positive or negative?
You know, now that you mention it, I once had an interview where the interviewer specifically mentioned a volunteer project I had listed on my resume.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't directly related to the job I was applying for, but it showcased my passion for a particular cause that aligned with the company's values.
Right.
And I truly believe that shared passion helped me land the job.
That's a perfect example of how even seemingly small details can make a big difference. It's about showing that you're not just a collection of skills and experiences, but a well-rounded individual with passions and interests that extend beyond the workplace.
So it's back to that idea of telling a story.
Exactly.
Of painting a picture of who we are as individuals.
Yeah.
And sometimes those seemingly insignificant details can actually be the most revealing and memorable parts of our story.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to approach your resume with care, intention, and a deep understanding of what you want to communicate about yourself.
It's amazing how those little details can really make a resume come alive and showcase our unique personalities.
Yeah.
But even with all the best tips and strategies, I think a lot of people still struggle with that initial hurdle.
Yeah.
Actually sitting down and writing the darn thing.
I agree.
It can feel so overwhelming.
Right.
Like staring at a blank canvas and not knowing where to begin.
The EAHEA article actually offers a really helpful framework.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
A framework sounds exactly what I need right now.
They suggest starting with a brain dump.
Okay.
Just get all your thoughts and ideas down on paper.
Right.
Your skills, your experiences, your accomplishments, anything that comes to mind. Don't worry about organizing it or making it perfect at this stage.
Right.
Just let the ideas flow freely.
So it's like a free writing exercise for our resumes.
Exactly.
I love that. It takes the pressure off of trying to be perfect from the start.
And once you have that brain dump complete, you can start to organize your thoughts and group them into categories.
Right.
The article suggests using the classic resume sections, summary skills, experience, education as a starting point.
Right.
But you can also customize those sections to fit your unique needs and the specific job you're applying for.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about finding a structure that works for us.
Yeah.
And the information we want to convey.
Right.
But what about that dreaded summary section? I always feel like I'm just repeating myself, summarizing information that's already included in other parts of my resume.
I hear you. The summary section can be tricky.
Yeah.
But it's also a prime opportunity to grab the reader's attention and make a strong first impression.
Okay.
Instead of simply summarizing your skills and experience.
Right.
Think of it as a highlight reel. What are the 3 or 4 most impressive things about your professional journey?
Okay.
What makes you stand out from other candidates?
Right.
What unique value can you bring to this particular role?
So it's less about summarizing and more about showcasing our most compelling selling points right up front.
Precisely.
Okay.
And remember, the summary section should be tailored to each specific job you're applying for.
Right.
Highlight the skills and experiences that are most relevant to the role and the company's needs.
Okay. I'm starting to see how the summary section can be a powerful tool for grabbing their attention and setting the stage for the rest of our resume.
Yeah.
But what about the experience section? Do we just list our previous jobs in chronological order and call it a day?
Not quite.
Okay.
The experience section is where you really get to flesh out your story and showcase your accomplishments.
Right.
Don't just list your responsibilities.
Right.
Focus on the results you achieved.
Okay.
What impact did you make in your previous roles?
Right.
What challenges did you overcome? What successes did you contribute to?
So it's about turning those bullet points into mini success stories that demonstrate our value and impact.
Exactly. And remember to use strong action verbs and quantifiable data whenever possible. Instead of saying managed a team of 5 employees, say led a team of 5 employees to achieve a 15% increase in sales.
Wow, that definitely packs more punch. It's about showing, not just telling how we've made a difference.
Precisely.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to get creative with the formatting of your experience section.
Right.
You can use bullet points, paragraphs, or even a combination of both to create a visually appealing and engaging narrative.
Okay, so we've got our summary, our skills, our experience. What about the education section? Is it really that important if we've been out of school for a while?
It depends.
Okay.
If you're early in your career, your education section will likely be more prominent.
Right.
But even if you've been working for years, your education still demonstrates your foundation of knowledge and your commitment to learning.
So it's still worth including, even if it's not the most recent or relevant part of our professional story.
Absolutely. And you can always tailor the education section to highlight specific degrees, certifications, or coursework that are relevant to the job you're applying for.
Okay.
For example, if you're applying for a job that requires strong analytical skills, you might want to mention that you took advanced statistics courses in college.
Okay, that makes sense.
Come on.
It's about showcasing the aspects of our education that align with the job requirements.
Right.
So we've covered the main sections of the resume summary skills, experience, education.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we should consider adding?
The EAHEA article actually encourages us to think beyond those traditional sections.
Okay.
And consider adding a section for projects or portfolio. This is a great way to showcase your work, especially if you're in a creative field like design writing or development.
Oh, that's a great idea. It's like bringing our resume to life by showing tangible examples of our work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even if you're not in a creative field, you can still use this section to highlight projects you've worked on that demonstrate relevant skills or accomplishments.
Yeah.
For example, if you're applying for a project management role, you might want to include a brief description of a successful project you led, outlining your responsibilities, the challenges you overcame, and the positive outcomes you achieved.
Okay, I'm definitely adding a projects section to my resume revamp list.
Yeah.
It's such a great way to showcase our abilities in a more concrete and engaging way.
And remember, your resume is a living document.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving as you gain new skills, experiences, and accomplishments.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to revisit it regularly.
Okay.
Make updates. And tailor it to fit the specific jobs you're applying for.
That's such an important reminder. It's not a one-and-done task. It's a continuous process of refinement and improvement.
Right.
So we've covered a lot of ground here today. We talked about tailoring our resumes, showcasing our learning abilities, speaking the right language, achieving that level of polish and perfection, and even breaking down the writing process into manageable steps.
Right.
I feel like I'm armed with a whole arsenal of resume-boosting strategies.
And remember, the EAHEA is a fantastic resource for anyone looking to advance their education and career.
Yes.
Be sure to check out their website and follow them on social media for more valuable insights and resources.
That's right. They have a ton of great content on everything from accreditation to professional development.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up,
Sure.
I just want to reiterate that key message from the EAHEA article.
Okay.
Your resume is a reflection of you.
Uh-huh.
It's your chance to showcase your unique talents, your passion, and your potential.
Right.
So invest the time and effort to make it shine and watch the opportunities unfold.
And one final thought to leave you with your resume is just the beginning of your journey. It's a tool to open doors, but ultimately it's your skills, your experience, and your enthusiasm that will truly make you stand out. So believe in yourself, embrace lifelong learning, and never stop pursuing your dreams.
That's such a powerful and inspiring message. So dear listeners, go forth and conquer the job market with your newly revamped resumes. And remember, the European Association for Higher Education Advancement is there to support you every step of the way. Please don't forget to follow the European Association for Higher Education Advancement on YouTube and social media